bar, king and coach on the mic. WTF Nation. Stand up, veterans in the building. Let's go. We breaking down the scores, NCAA to the pros. If the Jets or the Giants play, you already know we roasting them, cooking them, put them on the grill. Sports talk artillery, yeah, we too real. King with the stats, coach with the smoke. WTF Nation, laugh till you choke. Wednesday, heat, 8 p.m., no debate. Sports Bar Nation, we never show up late. This is the Sports Bar. Wednesday nights we go hard. Veterans strong and we stand tall. WTF Nation, we run the ball. Hey, hey, turn the lights on. It's Sports Bar, come get your hype on. Hey, turn the lights on. It's Sports Bar, come get your hype on. WTF Nation, Wednesday domination. King and coach in rotation. The Sports Bar's sensation. From kickoff to buzzer beaters, we break it all down. Wednesday 8 p.m. the live show in town. It's the Sports Bar where legends hang out. WTF Nation Radio. We out.
Yeah. Yeah. What's up? What's good? What's happening? I am the actual King Smith, and this is the Sports Bar live here at WTF Nation Radio. I co-host this thing with my main man, the guy behind the gate, the man affectionately known as Coach. Coach, let the people know something. Up. He said, hold up. He said, hold up.
If I had it on mute, what do you hear? What do you say? Oh, forgot to take myself out of mute. You know what? Maybe that would have been better for the rest of the night if I stayed on mute. I don't know. Hey, what do you hear? What do you say? Hey, King, I got a good one for you.
What's up?
New joke, buddy.
Let's hear it.
All right. What's the difference between the New York Jets with Justin Fields as the quarterback and a dump truck full of shit?
I don't know.
The dump truck.
Do I have a? Oh, hold on. I ain't got my
Yeah,
pen.
come on, man. I thought you were ready on this one. Damn, you're already asleep at the wheel on that one. Shit. Man, I was hoping to hear that Mario sound right now, man. Damn. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, Justin Fields, the man still owes the NFL some passing yards. My God,
Man,
terrible.
Justin Fields is trash. My Alabama team lost. A pro wrestler, I'll call him an ex pro wrestler, got shot. There's sports betting scandals abound. A bunch of news and things occurred over this past weekend. So we're gonna get right into it. First of all, let's go into our fantasy football as we have a listeners league here at WTF Nation Radio. I'm still winning, of course. I'm still winning. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I scored the highest this past week, week 11 in the NFL, putting up 154. Coach is still on the slide as he lost to a auto Spanky's Taco Eaters. Look, it looks like the auto knows how to manage their team way better than Spanky does. But Coach got beat again. His team is pretty much eliminated from playoff contention.
Oh no, I am eliminated.
You know,
There
it's
is
one of those
no
things that
possible way.
you went from hero to zero just like that.
And I have. No, you know what? I'm not going to say this because there's been a whole bunch of other people that have been hit by the injury bug. The thing that really killed me, and I will say it every week, was I don't think any of us saw, AJ Brown turning into AJ Brown.
I hear
AJ
you. Yep.
AJ Brown is about to turn into Antonio Bryant 2.0. Okay.
Ooh.
That's sad. Yeah. With the way he's playing, I'm tired of him. I blame my whole season on him right now.
We are towards the end of the fantasy football season. It is still, let's see, we have 9 teams still viable, still not quite mathematically eliminated yet, but we are only going to carry the first 4 teams to go into the first round of the playoffs, or the top 4 teams, I should say. So look, it's still anybody's league so far, with it being
Except for mine.
playoff contention.
But thank God I'm not dead last. That's the one. Dear God Almighty! I think I'm crying out loud. It definitely did a hell of a lot better than me on that, Lamar. Thank you. By the way, just out of curiosity, so I mean, I'm looking at the stuff as far as the beginning of the year and the end of the year. Tell me something. After 10 games, would you have thought that the Chicago Bears would be up by 2 games on the Kansas City Chiefs?
No.
Strange times we're living in, my good sir.
Strange.
You know, even the Carolina Panthers have a better record than the Kansas City Chiefs at the moment.
Man.
That's a scary. You know.
Yep. Now let's stick to the NFL. At the top of the league, you've got the New England Patriots sitting at 9-2. They're doing pretty well on offensively, but where they're shining is at on defense. The Colts are the other team that started red hot, ended up dropping the game, and won their last week 11 game. But the surprise team that is, how do I say this, that stands out to me, you've got the Philadelphia Eagles at 8-2, but their 8-2 is a really suspect 8-2.
It is. It's a very suspect 8-2, especially seeing out one of those losses are against the Giants.
Mm-hmm.
You know, with two stars that have CTE at this moment, Cam Scatabo and Jackson Dart. You know.
Did you see that Cam Scatterbo WWE or WWF event that had occurred?
Yeah, I did. Where they lined up and started doing the pushing and shoving, and yeah, I did see all of that. I will make a mention that yes, that was unbelievably choreographed. You can tell, but yeah, so it happened. Let the kid be. All right, the kid's 20 something years old. He probably won't even remember that he was there at in about 5 years from now. Let the kid have it.
I agree. I thought that it was good entertainment. It got the people, riled up or whatnot. And he knows his body. He knows that he has to do the proper things. And he seems like a guy um, that is a little bit more responsible with his health, being that he's young and that with his name, he doesn't, to me, Cam doesn't have to be a Adrian Peterson type back to still make his relevance and give himself some increased market value off the field. So I think that as long as he can stay marketable, he knows what to do and what not to do that can make sure that his injury allows him to properly come back
I,
to the
I'm
NFL.
I'm looking up his last interaction on there, and I'm kind of glad that he just went ahead and said it. I know what's best for me, and I know that I did not put myself. He knows that he didn't put himself in a situation that was going to harm himself or anybody else. So, for anybody that had any criticism, there's other people who have gotten involved too, and it's never been like that. So it's okay with me.
Yep, I'm going to show a little bit what I'm talking about here for people that may not know. I'm going to play it. I'm going to have it on mute so that we don't get Mark Zuckerberg. Well, here we go. I'm going to share the tab right here. You got
And
comedian
this
Aaron.
is Curdy. He's not pushing his Cam Scatterbo as hard as humanly possible out there for this in front of the camera. This was nothing. This was something that was okay. You know what? And let the little midget have his night, and we'll be okay with that. Okay.
Yep, absolutely. Now, the last thing that I want to highlight the
You ever
Chicago.
see Dom Mysterio? Dom Mysterio is no bigger than his father, and his father maybe stands about 5'3".
Bam.
You mean, well, he might be taller than you, but
Why do people think that I'm short? I
I
have
don't
a
know, man. Yeah, I don't know. That was always the thing. I'm trying to figure that one out too. I mean, I don't think you're that short either, but I mean, might be the bald head that just kind of makes you feel like you're shorter.
man. It's interesting. One of the viewers that watched the show, Greek Pete, shout out to him. I met him last
Yeah.
weekend in Jersey. Which, if I could skip New Jersey as a town altogether, I would. But
Oh,
there.
oh, oh,
That's neither here nor there.
oh,
I met
oh! You
Greek
take your
Pete.
fucking tongue back. Oh,
Hey, I can't trust the state that don't know how to allow people to make regular left hand turns.
all right, all right.
I can't trust
Well,
the state
then
that
Michigan,
my
Michigan,
own
Michigan.
gas. Can't pump my
Hey,
own gas. Come on.
that gives immigrants jobs.
Well, then ICE knows where to go then to find. No, I shouldn't have said
Uh,
that. Hold on.
Yeah, don't worry about it. They've already been thought about. That's always the first place they go. All right, I kid you not.
Man, the Chicago. Yeah, Pete Greek Pete thought that he was taller than me, and I said, Pete, stand up. We both took our shoes off. I'm like, bro, I got you by a good inch and a half. Like, I'm not
Jesus
tall, but I
Christ.
ain't short either. The Chicago
I
Bears.
don't know. You know what that's just the how would they call it the camera takes off 5 inches.
Absolutely. That's exactly what happens. The Chicago Bears are 7-3 in the NFC North, despite being one of the only teams with a winning record that has more points against than points for.
Yeah. And if you look at the score in one score games, I believe they are like a 4 game difference than what they were last year. They are legitimately 2 games away from being like 9-1, but they're also like 4 games away from being 3-7. So they've been getting some real good close games, and they've been getting it there going their way. But it's also and give credit where credit's due. Caleb Williams has not done enough to hurt the game for him. Like, when Rex Grossman was there, did enough to hurt them, but they kept winning despite him. Caleb Williams hasn't had that despite him type of quarterback play, so that's good on him.
Absolutely. Now, one last story that I want to cover in the NFL before we get over to some NCAA news. The Bengals versus the Steelers. The Bengals got their ass whooped. But in the process, they also had an incident between wide receiver Jamar Chase and cornerback for the Steelers, Jalen Ramsey. Now, Jalen Ramsey's a bit of a hothead, but I don't think I've ever seen him lose control. And when you were watching the tape, there was a pass in which Chase was being covered by Jalen Ramsey. There was some chatter, and the next thing you know, you see Jalen Ramsey start swinging. Without additional context, it looked like Jamar Chase was just jawing, and then Jalen Ramsey got mad and started swinging, which I like Jalen Ramsey. I like his aggressive style of cornerback play where he goes out there and he goes, nobody's better than me. But I've never seen him lose his composure since he's been in the NFL. So let's take a look at what happened and why Jamar Chase was swinging and what was the fallout from it.
Did you spit on him?
I ain't never opened my mouth to that guy.
What do you think prompted the reaction from him?
Well, he don't like some of the stories I told him.
Okay, so that's Jamar Chase right there being interviewed. And one person asked, you didn't spit on him? Because that's what Jalen Ramsey said. Jalen Ramsey said, he spit on me, and I'm not going to be disrespected by no man that spit on me. And in the post-game conference, Jamar Chase looked everybody in their eyes and said, I didn't open my mouth to that guy. I was just saying some stuff, talking trash, and he didn't like it. Let's go take a look at the evidence, though. Now, in fast motion, it might have been hard to see it. But if you go and you zoom in, right there. Let me slow it down just a little bit. Put it on 2.5x speed. Go back. And you saw it right there. Spit right on that man's jersey. Line that everybody on Al Gore's internet.
Man, you just did a breakdown like you were Kevin Costner in the movie JFK. Back and to the left. Back and to the left. If anybody ever saw that movie, you would know what I'm talking about. They were talking about how JFK's head moved back and to the left after the bullet hit him.
Yep.
That's what you just did right there, buddy.
Now, what do you think? Well, do you know what the NFL did in reaction to?
I saw what the NFL just put. What the NFL.
Do you think that a 1-game suspension?
Or was it yesterday? My days are getting mixed up, but I saw. You know what? It's warranted. It is absolutely warranted. You there, buddy? Okay. Or am I coming in messed up?
No, I'm here. I think the signal on my side made it difficult for me to hear you. I didn't want to interrupt you. Do you think that a 1-game suspension is appropriate? Same.
Romanowski only got about 1 game when he was suspended back to 99, 2000 for spitting on a player. That's the last time I remember seeing something like that happening. Was Romanowski he was either the Raiders or he was on the Broncos at that time. But Romanowski was also, a roid head who ended up popping hot with the Balco thing. So kind of explained the whole bit of him with him. Yeah, that was the same suspension. I think right now you're going to have a little bit of more of a disrespect regarding Jamar Chase. Spitting on a guy ain't freaking. You don't do that shit on the NFL. Look what happened with the old boy in what's his name? Philly. Didn't Philly that guy spit on him in Philly? First game of the season.
I don't
Guy
remember.
did it to Dak, right? Didn't he
Yes,
spit on
yes,
Dak?
yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
spit right on Dak. Got the one, and essentially got the 1 game suspension. But because it was the first play of the game, that 1 game suspension was essentially the game. So
Yeah.
yeah, so it's on par for doing it. But Jesus Christ, yeah, you look like a punk bitch when you do that to somebody. So glad for Jalen Ramsey for sticking up for himself, and glad that the NFL went back and saw the video and got it correct.
Last story in the NFL. Shador Sanders got out there
Ah!
and pretty much won the game for the Baltimore Ravens. So his debut was absolute trash. I'll tell you what's not trash from that Cleveland Brown team, Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett is a monster out there with 4
Oh
sacks in
yes.
his last game. What did you think about Shador Sanders coming in when Dylan Gabriel got concussed? And the latest news is that he's expected to start his first game against the Las Vegas Raiders on the road this upcoming Sunday. I don't hear you, coach.
It's my connection. Not hear me now?
All right,
It's me.
I've got you now. Go ahead.
All right.
Yes,
Can you hear me
sir.
now? No, I'm on delay. I'm gonna
Yes.
go off and come back.
Okay. So we've got a little bit of a delay, experiencing some technical difficulties. While coach disconnects and comes back, Shador Sanders went out there after Dylan Gabriel himself didn't have a good game. He was only sitting at 7 for 10 for about 60 something yards when he got injured. And Shador Sanders came into the game and was absolute garbage. All right, we got coach back in. Let me see if I can hear him better now.
How am I now? Am I off the delay?
Hey, yep, you are offered the
All right.
delay. All right, you
That's
have the
better.
floor. Sanders coming in and winning the game for the Ravens.
Man, I will tell you, everybody is going to find out why he was a 5th round pick coming up this week. And I thank him very much for taking the nod of worst NFL quarterback to start in an NFL game this season away from Justin Fields of the New York Jets, because Shador Sanders is going to show that he has absolutely zero presence. The same things that was plaguing him over in Colorado, his indecision, his lack of a read, his inability to read past the first option or the second option, regardless of his athleticism, is going to come out. But you're going to see that on full display of why he went into the 5th round coming up here. And regardless, I am going to say this. I heard the dumbest damn thing from a whole bunch of people who only hear anything from the hype. Okay, just hear it from the name and hear it from the hype. He didn't get any first team reps, that he did not even practice as the number 2 quarterback with the starters in the event he was going to get into the game.
Okay.
Oh my dear God.
What?
Oh my dear God. Okay. And this is coming from Matt and Tim Hasselbeck, who backed up Rodgers, who backed up Favre, who did a whole bunch of nice backed up as well as starting in the NFL. Okay.
Mhm.
When you have limited practice hours and you have limited time in practice, your backup quarterback never practices with the first team. The first team is always gone through by the starting quarterback for the week.
Mhm.
Okay, unless it's somebody who is running, need rest or something like that. Justin Gabriel was put as the starter because if you are going to run the offense and if you're going to make adjustments, you need to make those adjustments with the quarterback who is best putting you in position for a win and to start the game for you. So Justin Gabriel gets every single snap of the week. And on top of that, too, he is also a rookie quarterback who needs all of the development time as humanly possible. So to say that the Cleveland Browns failed because Shador Sanders didn't get any practice snaps with the frickin' first team is the stupidest take I have heard in the NFL in quite a long time. And now, the fact that he has had quarterback passer rating game, his first game was worse than Zach Wilson. In my eyes, if you are worse than Zach Wilson, then you are terrible. Okay, and you were worse than Zach Wilson. So Shador, you're going to go on the long list of freaking Cleveland quarterbacks and get another name added to that massive jersey of Cleveland quarterbacks since 1999's drafting of Tim Couch. And you'll be named number 47 on that thing, and you'll still have a shitty quarterback situation in Cleveland for the rest of this year.
I don't get why the Browns do what they do. It's like it's almost a meme at this point. The way that they draft quarterbacks and how they just are shitty. Period. With no development.
I brought this up, and okay, we have seen this, and I am going to bring this up regarding a lot of the quarterbacks. Out of all of the ones that were drafted in like the 2021 draft,
Which was post Mayfield.
yeah, which was that was Zach Wilson, Lawrence, and all of those people. You've got barely one of them that has made that. That Baker Mayfield draft, you've got Baker Mayfield as the only person who's close to it, but it developed six. He had to go from Cleveland to freaking Carolina, as a stop off, to some other place as a stop off, and then to Tampa as a complete resurrection project to even be thought of as an MVP candidate like he is this season. And by the way, I don't think he is going to end up winning it this year, but he's in that area because it took him that long to develop and took him that long with a coach. Cleveland doesn't have a stable enough coaching situation, front office situation, nor scouting situation to ever develop that. And it's poverty franchises acting poverty because they don't know any better. The New York Jets are going through this. They've been going through this ever since, Rex Ryan hasn't been the coach. And that's what poverty franchises do. It continues a cycle of poverty because you have inept ownership hiring inept front offices who hire inept things, and they have a short attention span with 2 years is all that they can give somebody as far as development. Development of a quarterback takes some time. I wish they would have ended up drafting Shador and saying, you're not getting on the field at all until you learn the entire damn playbook. And then maybe we'll look at you. No, they have to rush everybody. I wish that there would be some more people like, what's his name, Cam Ward over in Tennessee. He's going to suffer through a 2-win season, and Tennessee is going to be the first pick of the draft again. They're not going to draft a quarterback, so they're going to draft somebody else. But Cam Ward right now, sure as hell I'm not as high on him as I was when he was the first pick of the draft.
Same.
Same thing happened to Trevor Lawrence because you're throwing these people in. It worked with a couple people, but it didn't work with several of them. I have said this multiple times now. The development of the quarterback means that you have development for the future. Do not look at the last three, if I can go in succession, as far as the last three great quarterbacks in a row. Brady sat an entire year before he came in during the game. And by the way, and he was never going to come in unless Mo Lewis drilled Bledsoe and punctured his spleen. Aaron Rodgers sat for 2.5 to 3 years behind Brett Favre. And, now look at him once he got out of Favre's shadow and Favre went ahead and came to the Jets and showed his penis to Jen Sturger. And Patrick Mahomes, same exact thing, went an entire year and now, quarterback to be. shit, even Jalen Ramsey, or not Jalen Ramsey, Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts was not run throughout that year. In fact, there was a lot of people that were pissed off that the Eagles were not tanking a game so that the Giants could get into the playoffs or something like that. There was something like that about Jalen Hurts is the future of the team, and yeah, let's just say that. Okay, you need to develop the quarterback, and those organizations that have developed the quarterback and have that stability from the freaking ownership group and the front offices know how to do that, and they do it well. They need to be doing it, of course, the NFL a lot more instead of these instant fixes. Hell, I'm going to say this as far as the Colts, too. My team, who I'm actually getting on the bandwagon with, I think the Colts might be the surprise Super Bowl team this year out of the AFC. How long did it take Daniel Jones to develop? And look at the Giants situation from when they drafted Daniel Jones up until they released him because they should have, they prioritized him over Saquon Barkley, but they had a head coach who wasn't able to do anything with him and used him as a scapegoat. Now he's got some type of decent coaching, and he's on a 7-3 or 7-2 Indianapolis team, or 8-2 or something like that. But let's just be as blunt as I can with that one. You have to have that front office who doesn't have a cycle of people coming in and out thinking that it's a win now situation, and you have stability and time to develop the quarterback. Then you're going to be successful. For the rest of them, it's going to be a catch up and fuck up every quarterback that you have until luck out and get one right.
You were talking about Daniel Jones. He's on now. His best year was in the 2022 season, where he had 3,200 passing yards on 472 attempts, 15 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions in 16 games.
And that was the first year of Brian Dable. That was Dable's first year, and he brought that team. And I will give credit, Daniel Jones has a road playoff victory for the New York Giants.
Yep. Through 10 games of this year, he's only about 800 yards behind that, with one extra game during the regular season to beat that stat. And his best year was his rookie year with 24 touchdowns, but he's at 15 touchdowns to 7 interceptions so far.
Yeah, and with Jonathan Taylor in the backfield with him, he's got it's just like him and Saquon. But hell, I'm happy that Daniel Jones is getting some success, and now that he's got time to actually develop, that's what you're giving him. So good for him.
Let's cover some NCAA news now. My Alabama Crimson Tide team, I was not happy about that. That sucked. But it did not ruin our chances of the college football bracket. We got 2 games left in the season. We're playing Eastern Illinois, which the third string for our team could be in for that game and should win that game. And then we've got the Iron Bowl. So assuming we get past these next 2 games, I don't see a reason why the committee keeps Bama out of the top 12 spot.
With 2 wins, I agree with you that Alabama will stay in, and you're definitely not looking at the top 4 anymore. My question regarding that is, do you think Tech somehow makes it into the quarterfinal top 4?
Nope.
Let me ask you, why? When do you think? Even all right? Yeah, you're right. I was trying to think. I was thinking that they had A&M coming up, but they don't have A&M. They have Texas coming up, so that means that they're going against Arch Manning, and Arch Manning, you're going to be the next Cleveland Browns quarterback. Oh my God. Yeah. Okay. Never mind what I was going to say about that, but it is kind of nice to see Oregon up there, and I kind of like the fact that there's still 2 Pac-12 teams that are playing, and one of them has a chance to be the national championship, just to show the absolute absurdity. I would love to pull for Oregon to win the entire damn thing.
A team out of the Big Ten? Why?
No, wait a minute, hold on. I thought, what the hell teams out of the Pac-12? I thought, wait a minute, Oregon's out of the Big Ten. Damn, I'm still not,
Yeah,
motherfucker. I'm still fucking messed up on who's in what fucking league.
exactly.
Isn't there? Who are the 2 teams in the Pac-12?
The Pac-12, it is damn. I couldn't tell you.
Fuck, I hate
It's
I
like
hate this shit.
no, it's like
This is the thing I hate about college football. This is
no.
that
So
damn
it's the 2 teams. It's Oregon State and Washington State. Because
Oregon State. That's the fuck
Yep.
me. The Beavers, not the Ducks. Great. Fucking Beavers. Never damn mind. I fuck. Still not kind of, let me ask you, out of all of these teams, did you have Indiana in the top 4 at the beginning
Nope.
of this year? That one has been the surprise, I think, for all of college football. I mean, I sure as hell never even look at Indiana as far as football whatsoever, and never even include them in any type of research that I do for the season. They're like Iowa football, Iowa football. I know that they have a team, or East Carolina. I know they have a team. I did the same thing with Indiana, for crying out loud. The only team I always think is good from Indiana is Notre Dame, and at least they're in. But yeah, damn, Indiana's got me for this season. I haven't seen a single game for them, though. Have you?
Yes, I actually watched the one game where they had that crazy toe tap to help.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yep, that's the one game I
Yeah.
watched from first quarter to fourth quarter.
Okay.
Now,
I only saw the fourth quarter of the game, obviously.
now I called Texas Tech in the Big Ten. They're in the Big 12, but the Big Ten, you've got the Buckeyes, you've got Indiana. They're going to meet. Who do you think wins the conference championship? I've got my
Hard to go against Ohio State.
Yep.
Hard to go against the defending national champions. I'm going to bring this up. That game is going to show me something regarding the national championship. Okay, remember last year when we went into this beginning of the playoffs, the whole it went all chalk. It went 5, 6, 7, 8. They ended up winning the national. They ended up winning their quarterfinal game, or the first round games, and then every single one of them upset the people that ended up going in for the week. I'm thinking about this because I really don't know if Ohio State, with a lot of these kids, they have been playing a shit ton of football. And I don't know if they're going to have the gas in them to repeat not only as national championships, but to win 3 more in a row after meeting Indiana. Oh, and then they still also have Michigan, right?
Yep, they got Michigan. November 29th.
Yeah, it's the Thanksgiving weekend. They have Michigan.
Michigan, Indiana in the conference playoffs. A week off, assuming that they beat Indiana.
Yeah,
and then boom, boom, boom. I think it's hands down their championship to lose.
It's their championship to lose, but man, we are asking a lot of that for them. And if they go back to back, obviously they'll cement that in history. I think the last time we had back to back, it was Bama, or was it Florida?
Bama.
It was Bama. Before that was Florida. Before that was what, Nebraska? No, not Nebraska. Yeah, I think it was Nebraska, or one of those damn ones. It would be a freaking impressive, especially with the playoffs, if they go back to back. You would have to think of them as one of the best dynasties of all time.
Of all time. That defense is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Yeah. The highest that a team has scored against them was the Illinois team, which put up 16. You had one 14-point game with Penn State, two 10-point games against Purdue and UCLA.
Yeah.
They've
By the
only
way,
given up 75 total points this season.
Hmm.
Ridiculous.
75 total points. You think that's going to be the over-under on the Army-Navy game?
Oh, man. Yes.
So you think they'll score more than 75 points?
I think I would take the over in that game.
All right. Well, the question I have for you is, would you spend more than $75 on a freaking ticket for that game?
Hell no. Let me see if I got that video.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't know if that was something you were going to queue up today or not.
No, I can't find it. No.
Oh, it's not in the. Didn't you put it on the Facebook?
Ah, that's where it's at. Yes.
Yeah, you put it up on Facebook.
Prices in that were ridiculous.
That was absolutely yeah. All right, now is this the secondary market or is that like just straight through Ticketmaster?
That's the secondary market because there are no available tickets left that you can get. And I'm going to put it up on the screen right here. Screen share, Facebook.
We've got to talk to some people about this. This is absolutely unnecessary.
Insane. What for those of y'all that can't see, what I'm looking at is the prices of tickets to the Army Navy game Saturday, December the 13th. I looked at this and posted this last week.
Yeah.
This past Wednesday. I'm pretty sure that the prices are higher now than they were back then. Crazy. I wanted to get to that game.
But all right. I've got a big fucking problem. Big fucking problem with this. Mm-hmm. With this massively.
Why?
Okay. Here's my biggest problem that I've got. All right. Yes, this is a commercial entity because it is, NCAA football, and they are a commercial entity. Plus, the United States Military Academy and the United States Naval Academy are, part of the NCAA, so they do have to have some type of athletic funding and things like that. I will also mention that regardless of how we like to view this game, it has been commercialized by our bastardization greatest Budweiser version of military thing into the USAA, Navy Federal, and all of these great banks that would want our money. This whole thing has been commercialized. I get it. Not a problem there. Still Army Navy. It's still military themed. It still should not be something that the greed of Ticketmaster is making a fucking profit off of. Do you see where I'm getting at on this one? Mm-hmm. Okay, great. You know what? I'm happy that America wants to see two of our greatest institutions go against each other in a football game where it's history, it's tradition, it's our department of two branches of our Department of Defense, technically three because the Marines are part of it, going against each other in an athletic competition. Okay. To me, seeing that Ticketmaster and scalpers and assholes are freaking scalping those tickets and having them go higher, it really irks my freaking chain right now. I am not paying $1,300 to go to the Army Navy game. I will say this, there are plenty of other ways for us, luckily enough, with military connections, for us to go see that game. Hell, if CQ really, wants to get that, he could get us press passes for us to attend the game. We could be on the field with those press passes reporting for the game as part of WTF Nation. You and I could be there. We can do things like that. We know organizations where we can get this. But for the general, supporting military public and, showing the tradition and showing that for them, Ticketmaster to allow the freaking over in price and the scalping of those tickets just so that some, mouth breather with a neck beard freaking can go ahead and, afford, jack up the price 200% to somebody to attend. That's fucking bullshit. That is absolute fucking bullshit. And I fucking hate Ticketmaster for a lot of bullshit, but this is another one in the fucking cap for fuck you, Ticketmaster.
Yep. Look at this. One end zone, $1,300. Nah, I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah. And and like I said, we are lucky. We are lucky that if we really did want to go to this, we could do this. But you know, what about the one person who, wants to go to the game in East Mumblefuck? And is he going to spend $1,600 just so that he could sit in the nosebleeds and let me be as blunt as I can, driving to fucking Baltimore? I mean, for crying out loud, Baltimore? Have you ever been down? You've been to M&T Bank. I mean, the fucking stadium is right there in Baltimore. Who the hell wants to go to Baltimore?
More people that want to go to New Jersey.
Bullshit. I will say they do have a better stadium because MetLife Stadium is by far the second shittiest stadium in the NFL behind Cleveland. No, no, I'm sorry, not behind Cleveland. I think Cleveland's a little bit better behind Washington, the FedEx Field or whatever they call it now. That is a shithole and a half. And I'll never go to a game there.
I didn't think it was that bad. I've been to 2 games. One where I tailgated with a veteran service organization. We tailgated right outside, and then everybody went in and watched the game. I mean, I had a fun tailgate experience, so I think that's what helped make the experience there better. I don't. It actually, interesting enough, I don't remember anything about the inside of it, like nothing at all. And
Jalen Hurts sure as hell does.
Now I'm going to show up here on the screen the last thing that we're going to do with football news. This is a game in which the Carolina wide receiver goes in, scores a touchdown, and then runs kind of gimpingly into the tunnel. His teammate goes after him. They're walking out, and take a look at what occurs between a state trooper from Texas A&M and the South Carolina players. Now, immediately you see that trooper turn around and chide the players, and one of the Carolina team then is like, "Hey man, just keep on walking, keep on walking." Now, let's look at it again. Which South Carolina, somebody lost. They lost that game on their own, but people are saying if you slow it down, it looked like the trooper intentionally flared himself out to cause a contact and cause some ruckus. Now that trooper did end up immediately getting removed from the game, and his further attendance at any of these games are likely going to be into question as they also launch their own internal investigation. When you see this video, who do you think was at fault, the trooper or the players?
Oh, you kidding me? The fucking cop. Oh, come on. Look at this guy. This guy looks like, this guy looks like this guy looks like he would actually, say he's cutting you a break by writing you a ticket for going 70 into 65 when you were going 72 miles an hour. This guy looks like he owns absolutely everything that he wants to do it because he's a cop and he knows so much better. So I'm not too damn worried about it. Now, that guy was a punk. He was flaring himself out, wanting to be a tough guy, much like every other douchebag that wears one of those hats and tries to act like cops like that. You know what? As much as I have heard the fact that, how would I say this? the 82nd Airborne Division, fighter pilots, they are they've been said that they've been cocky. Okay, there's also a lot of people in the SF said that the SF's cocky and things like that. But the amount of I think I am better than everybody type of small-minded mentality comes out the most within police officers. I am not going to lie to you. And as somebody who worked as an internment and resettlement specialist for a good year, I could tell you that MPs, my gosh, yes, they act like dickheads like this guy right here. Most cops do this. I am not going to side against any player against this one. It is the cop's fault, and I hope that cop right there, goes back and I don't know, twirls his baton and gets angry at himself and his small ding dong.
I would have demanded an apology. I would have absolutely demanded an apology face to face, where he's got to fly from Texas to South Carolina to give it to me on his dime. Judge Kingsmith says, "Make it so." Now,
I can guarantee you. I can guarantee you that kind of guy right there that hit him right there is a kind that says that uses the term uppity a little bit too often. That's the kind of vibe that I got from that dude.
absolutely.
Yes.
Now, if I would have told y'all, if you look at the score, this was 30-3 at halftime. And if I would have told y'all that South Carolina lost this game, you would have been like, wait, there's no way. If you saw the first half of the game and saw just the offensive dominance that South Carolina put out, but then they came out, Texas A&M Aggies forced 4 turnovers total and put up 28 straight points to come back and win that game. And it's not like South Carolina didn't have opportunities. They did, and they just fumbled their opportunity.
Yeah.
It was,
And you know what? And let's be. This might be a good one. Okay, and I'm going to bring this up as far as with A&M. If, and I'm going to bring this up if when we get to the second round, then to the semifinals, if A&M is on here, we're going to have a third host on for those weeks. We need to bring Spanky on.
yeah.
Spanky hates all sports, but only follows one, and that's Texas A&M football.
Yep.
We got to get her on. If they get into the semifinals or the quarterfinals, the semifinals, and the finals, yeah, we need to have Spanky on. We need to have her hosting, and I don't care if she even comments anything about baseball and she says, "Oh, woo, sports ball." Fuck that. Just for the single fact that we have her on for Texas A&M and let her go ahead and talk about it, we got to leverage that one, man. We got to get her on for that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now I got one more thing to show before we continue on. Oh, we got some comments here. Jason Hunt said it was definitely the trooper was at fault. Absolutely.
Yep.
And FAFO Ferry, love that name, said here 753rd. 753. 753. Appreciate you tuning in. Now, I got one thing to show before we go on to our next topic here, and that is Angel Reese and Victoria's Secret. If you were to look at her Instagram, you would think that she was into fashion or something like that, as there's hardly really any real reference of her as a professional athlete. Matter of fact, it goes entrepreneur, then Bayou Barbie, then pro athlete, model, and founder of a foundation. But hey, she is very, very fashionable. The queen of me bounds. I'm telling you. Don't hate, coach.
I don't hate. Like I said, it's hysterical that okay, when Shador Sanders and Angel Reese finally meet up together, I will let them go ahead and be the sports world's versions of the Kardashians. Didn't do anything to do it, but they're around, and for some reason they're popular. Angel Reese, I'm going to let. By the way, did you hear about the WNBA CBA negotiations?
No.
They are trying to raise the minimum salary from 250,000 to a minimum of 453,000. And they are only allowing $1 million contract per team.
Hmm.
The WNBA Players Association is none too happy about that because they all believe that they deserve more than $1 million. Here's a fair evaluation. No, we want you to double it. My God, I cannot believe how fucking entitled that truly feels. I truly feel bad for absolutely everybody right now who is going to be reporting on the major outlets regarding the WNBA CBA negotiations. I would rather watch a bear wipe itself with a porcupine. I would rather watch a deer urinate in a stream and then me drink the water than have to report on WNBA CBA negotiations. And I'm glad that Angel Reese has made money and has now joined the ranks of the 2.6 million multimillionaires in the United States. But a fool and their money will soon be parted, and let me be as blunt as we can. Nobody is going to want to watch her play. Nobody's going to want to hear her commentary after it's done. And the only thing that she is going to do is fade into obscurity, much like Anna Kournikova, much like what was the other, the golfers that, had that, the athletes that are going to be known for their non-athleticism. And let me also be honest with you. She's not going to be an Olympian in 2028. Okay. Even her home crowd will boo her. Okay. Even her home crowd will boo her. So please, for the love of God, just retire at the end of this year. You've done 3 years in the WNBA. Get out while you're still ahead. Please just retire because this doesn't end well for anybody else, okay? It doesn't end well for any part of humanity. It's going to be awesome when the WNBA players go on strike and nobody cares.
I think one of the only people who will be reporting it is me.
And how many current viewers did we lose during that WNBA segment?
Keith Miller said porcupine toilet paper and spring water deer urine. Coach come out with his fetish interests.
Yep. Bestiality. What can I say?
There has been some talk and some changes already in the MLB after Cleveland Guardians pitchers Emmanuel Class and Louis Ortiz were charged November the 9th with fraud, conspiracy, and bribery resulting from an alleged ruse to fix individual pitches to win money for gamblers. The prop bet constraints were announced quickly that following day. And this past Friday, members of the Senate Committee on Commerce, Science, and Transportation, which they oversee professional sports, sent a letter to the MLB commissioner communicating concerns with the new integrity crisis that U.S. pro sports have been confronted with in the recent years and seeking answers about how and the operation regarding the pitcher's alleged, we got to say that over here, alleged schemes. There's already been a max limit that you could do on certain pitch prop bets. Sports books have recently established a nationwide $200 betting limiting on individual pitches and have banned those bets from inclusion in multi-leg parlays as well. I think we're only seeing the tip of the iceberg with some of this stuff.
We are, and then we're going to see a tipping point. That tipping point better come before 2028. The reason why I am mentioning 2028 is because, well, actually, I'm going to say this. It really needs to come out starting next year. Because when I'm bringing that up, we are going to, well, next year might be the tipping point, but it better be fixed by 2028. FIFA World Cup is coming here in 2026. It would not shock me that another betting scandal comes a light within one of the sports, and it wouldn't shock me if there's some type of betting scandal that is going to arise out of the 2026 World Cup. That, I believe, is going to be a tipping point because USA is going to be on a world stage, and we're going to be having right now with Major League Baseball and NFL, the MLB, plus all of the money that is being bet on the NFL. There's something bound to be happening with that here pretty damn soon. Something is going to tip it, and I think the World Cup will end up tipping it onto that. And it needs to be corrected before the next world stage event, which would be the 2028 Olympics. And could you imagine if there is a crowd of any type of irregularity or betting or any type of if there's going to be a shroud of controversy regarding betting and influence on the Olympics, then we're going to be at a tipping point in society at that far. So I'm going to say that these things need to be done not just through the frickin' manager, not just through the individual leagues, but this also needs to be done nationwide. It's going to have to take that because it's going to end up infiltrating more than what we can think of as far as that. And I agree with you on it. It's the way that this world is going right now with sports betting because that's where all the money is going to. You know what? I got actually a comment regarding sports betting. You know what a regional sports network is, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So everybody's regional sports networks. We used to have the Fox Sports back in the day. It was Sports USA or Sports Channel or something like that. Now, every single one of them are owned by Bally's, which are now owned by FanDuel, which is now owned by somebody else. All of these regional sports networks are now bet on the money games. In fact, the funny thing I just saw too is that the official supplier for all of the NFL gear, as well as all for the NFL logos and memorabilia and signed stuff, Fanatics, is also one of the official sports books now of the NFL.
Raking in dough.
Let's just be as blunt as I can. That's where this money is coming in on this betting and coming in hard. It's going to take a freaking act of Congress or Congress's intervention to do something against this. And it's going to have to hit all 5 of the major sports freaking leagues within within the United States. And I'm talking the NFL, Major League Baseball, the NBA, the NHL, and Major League Soccer.
Keith Miller said maybe rampant gambling on everything could be making this worse. Yeah, look, you can bet that you're going to run across 3 flies from the hours of 9 to 10 and put $5 out there and certain odds, and people will take that bet.
Yeah.
It's insane the way that anything and everything.
I mean, there's always the prop bet of what the heads or tails are going to be. There's the prop bet if when the flag's going to be thrown. There's going to be a prop bet if somebody blows their nose on camera or somebody curses on air. I mean, for crying out loud, how many prop bets did we see during the year of Angel Reese to miss her first shot?
Mm-hmm. K Mills asked,
I wonder, with all this entrepreneurship that she has, really, is she betting every time that she has it and she'll be putting the money on for her missing a shot and then she just misses it on purpose?
hey.
I mean, nobody can really miss that many layups in a row, can they?
If you're considered a professional.
A professional basketball player can't be that bad that close to the rim, right?
Might want to go get Cash Patel to go over there and check that out. K Mill in the chat said, "Did you guys mention the new Dallas cheerleader recruits?" First of all, I'm going to show that.
Oh, boo!
Show that.
Boo!
If
Boo!
if the face on this, let me see if I don't know if y'all can see my mouse. This side
Oh,
looks familiar. This is me.
oh,
This is the lovely pop culture warrior.
oh.
And there, if you go to Pop Culture Warriors page about 8 hours ago, it says K Mill followed through with photoshopping to use for Trade Anything Day at GameStop this upcoming, or not this upcoming, the first Saturday, December the 6th. What do you think? Will they take it? First of all, that picture right there is in freaking valuable. If you don't get less than $1,000, and I'll sign it to bump it up to $5,000, then GameStop would have done you dirty.
I gotta tell you, man. I really gotta tell you. I don't know if you've ever, ever had that issue where your wiener had to go get tucked inside, and you end up pooping out your own wiener because your wiener just wants to run and hide when you see something that ugly. That literally just happened to me right there. It went from an outie to an innie because, dear God Almighty, my daggone, that was the ugliest thing I have ever seen in my own life. Dear Lord Jesus, please do me a favor and bleach my eyes from what I just saw. Looking at Hillary Clinton naked might actually be better than what I just saw right there. So that's how bad I would call that. Okay, I would rather watch the WNBA than see that picture again. All right, let's not be that realistic. I'd rather watch women's college basketball than see that picture again.
Keith said, "My hair looks great." Well, you know what? I appreciate the person that put my hair together. Now, this story right here, I'm just going to show the picture without any additional context. Let me share my screen here. Share screen. Pro wrestler wife divorces him, and then 3 days later, he ends up dead. Now, if my ex is dating somebody who has a tattoo on his head that looks like this, I'm leaving her alone. Because all she got to do is gas this person up to say, "Oh, my ex did XYZ," and I'm guaranteeing you this dude is showing up at your doorstep with the blicky, and he's letting off rounds. So let's scroll back up here. As reported by People magazine, Michael Hogue and Amanda Penny, 51 and 40, were arrested on first-degree murder charges and firearm possession charges November the 17th for the death of former pro wrestler Kevin Nikel. Now, Kevin Nikel, a former wrestler, was found suffering from a gunshot wound to the abdomen in Arkansas back on July the 11th. Nikel and Penny finalized their divorce just days before the shooting. And after what was that? July, August, September, October, November. After 4 months, they were finally able to bring some charges to those two individuals as Nikel was transported to a local hospital when it occurred, and he was pronounced dead. Detectives have been pretty tight-lipped on things that had occurred, which is good. But they said that they would still like to know exactly what happened and who did what. I know exactly what happened. I'm just going to tell you. She didn't like the way that the divorce settlement ended up. She had been dating this dude right here who has this lovely head tattoo. I'm pretty sure he is an outstanding citizen and an upstanding individual. She gassed him up, wind up his battery in his back, sent him off like a good old toy soldier, and an argument ensued because you had two hijacked up testosterone individuals, and one had a gun and the other one didn't make it. Coach, do you have anything to add to this?
That's just well, Dear God, where the heck's where's old boy? That we got to get KT back on here, man. He's got to do something. What the hell's going on with professional wrestling, man? That's all we're talking about. We're not even talking about people winning the belts anymore. We're talking about all the off the field stuff that's happening. Jesus Christmas. All the stuff out of the ring is making the news. Nothing in the ring is making the news. It's just like the WNBA. Nothing on the court's making the news. Everything off the court's making the news.
Now, at a bond hearing today, Penny's public defender told a judge that she's 7 months pregnant and under the care of a doctor. Yikes. How does that work? Like, does she birth the kid? Like, if she's found guilty of whatever she's charged with?
So, oh gosh, I can't. All right. There is something. All right, and I only know this because I think this happened on the what's it called, on that show Orange is the New Black. Yeah, I used to watch that.
I did.
Yeah, because if I'm remembering right, if somebody is born in the prison, they are actually born to the state, and then the state's public services is the one who finds the parenting for them. They're given um the adoption. They're like, that's like the priority adoption line is the best way I could say it. It's the state run priority adoption line. I don't know what. Yeah, I think it varies from state to state. I don't know where that comes from, but yeah, the child is put up for adoption until like somebody gets it out or it's given to the care of the family if it was already something prearranged. So she could, like the mother or the sister or something like that can care for the child.
So I'm trying to see if I can find some information looking into a deep dive of this. And according to Google AI, what happens when a woman who is arrested is pregnant? When a pregnant person is arrested in the U.S., there are several legal and procedural issues that come into play. They consider health care and custody rights. Federal law is being updated via the Pregnant Women's in Custody Act, which mandates evaluations on high risk pregnancies and prohibits certain restrictive housing for pregnant or postpartum persons. That is in Congress right now. And let's see, research has shown that pregnant detainees often face inadequate medical care, shackling during transportation, and labor and separation from newborns right after birth. I don't see nothing wrong with that. Personally, I don't see nothing wrong with that.
No.
Let's see. There is a Unborn Victims of Violence Act. Let's see. No, that doesn't apply here. Practical things to watch in an arrest. So they're just giving multiple evals. You have to watch restraints. And judges and courts may consider pregnancy as a factor in release detention decisions. But it doesn't.
I mean,
The pregnant.
yeah, and that's where the judges, and that's where the judges, when they have the sentence, that's where, like when you hear the sentence hearings and things like that, the judges do have that option to put it in consideration. And that's where, like, I'll say this, where a judge could possibly say, probation or something like that could be, done for this person until that time, or house arrest until, the baby is of X age and then, must report to prison at that time. Things like that can happen.
They don't want me as a jury on a case like this because I don't show any sympathy. None. All right, last story here. Pat Beverly, ex-NBA player, arrested and charged with a third-degree felony. I've got to go back and find it here. Charged with assault, family violence, household, impending breath, which I was like, impending breath? I wasn't sure if there was a typo. No, that's actually how it is written in the law. And as it stands, it is a third-degree felony, and he was had a bond set for $40,000, which I don't think he's gonna have an issue paying that. But I'm gonna bring this story up on the screen here, and then we're gonna go over this and then wrap up today's show. So in Texas, when the news first came out, it was Pat Beverly got arrested for an issue that had to deal with his younger sister, who's under the age of 18, and her quote unquote boyfriend. Now, initially, it was like, oh crap, it seems like maybe Pat Bev was gone someplace. His sister was in the care of him, and then he came home and he found a boy, I'm gonna say man, because this is how the article initially made it seem, a man that was 18 years old doing some things with his under 18-year-old sister. Now, at first I thought, well, that happens pretty often between like 16 to 18, where you have like Romeo and Juliet laws that while technically one person is a man, like I don't see that difference. If you got two people that are 15 and 17, right, that are dating in high school, that happens often, and then one graduates, that should not be anything illegal if that couple that were known to date while they were still in high school with that kind of an age difference, which is why they have Romeo and Juliet laws, continue their relationship going forward.
See, oh, I don't know. I'm kind of lucky that I never had to worry about that situation.
Me neither.
Uh, but in my sense of it, and I would say that as somebody who was at that time 18, who then dated a 17-year-old and certain things like that, there was a little bit as far as I could see why there would be needing of protection, and I can also see why it was also a pain in the butt. It was that it shouldn't be done. I would. I don't know, man. I never really thought about it in that sense, but for me, I would say that that's where the parents type of relationship would come in there. Now, the parents also has to be. I would say this: a 2-year age gap is about the maximum I would have anticipated around that time. Anything more than that would definitely have been a hell of a lot, much more different. But yeah, there was in my sense, I would say no. I'm saying this as with my daughter, but now she's 21, so really don't mean anything anymore. So I would say no, that should not have happened. Within that area without parent consent. Okay, that's where I'd come with that.
Yes. Now, to speak a little bit more about me, when I graduated, I was in a relationship with somebody that was 2 grades behind me. So I was class of 2002. This person was class of 2004, and I was going
Yeah.
into the Air Force. So I would have been, something that if this were the facts in the Pat Bev case, which I'm actually going to reveal what the actual story is, like this person's parents knew that I was dating her at the time and I was going into the Air Force, and that wasn't a big deal. But a lot of people get themselves up in arms because you'll say an 18-year-old man instead of an 18-year-old boy. But if the genders were reversed, people think about that a little bit different. But in this case, Pat Bev didn't beat up the other dude. No, he put his hands on his own little sister, and it's being reported that their mother, who had the care of the sister, had called Pat Bev because the girl was being unruly and asked him to set her straight. Apparently, the young woman started back talking, which that's what happened. Now, he's got over 15, 20 years over his sister. Yet, he's still the grown, responsible one, so to speak. He's an accomplished person. He made it to the professional. He's been in the the NBA for several years. So it's not like Pat Beverly's not an accomplished athlete in his own right.
Yeah.
And he's also likely the guy that's got the generational wealth in his family, being that he has been in the NBA so long. You don't hear him talking about being bad with money or hear any bad stories about him financially. So I think overall he's good. Yet these young, fast ass teenagers nowadays think that they know everything and you can't tell them nothing. And the family's likely trying to give her restrictions and things for her own good. Yet she want to be fast. She want to be out here twerking and shaking her ass and everything, and back talking and not listening to quote unquote authorities. And Pat Bev caught the brunt end of it.
Yeah, he did.
I think when the facts come out, I don't believe that he's gonna get any significant time. Right here, Pat Bev's attorney said the following: Patrick Beverly has no criminal record. He cares deeply about his little sister, a young lady who is a minor. Given that, when he unexpectedly found her alone in the home with the 18-year-old man in the middle of the night, he was understandably concerned, as any brother would be about his sister. However, we don't believe what happened the way that it's been described, and we look forward to the opportunity to address that in court. I think she got violent with him, and he stopped her.
Yeah.
Take on it. Because you only push back so much until you just got to be like, all right, stop.
Yes, and with family, I can understand it. Yeah,
You know, like
Yeah.
I'm the oldest of 4, and I have 2 younger sisters. They're both grown. But if my sisters came at me swinging like a wild animal, like they're more going to be like an annoying little gnat to me, right? Because they're both like small, like, and don't weigh much, and like it's just going to be annoying. But I'm not going to sit
Yeah.
here while they're still just trying to come after me because they're mad and angry that I'm trying to enforce some type of a standard, and probably just swinging, maybe throwing stuff, maybe trying to scratch him and claw because she's acting like a Tasmanian devil. And then, you just kind of got to give him a backhand and say, all right, chill out.
I get it. I get it. And I get you about that. Hey. So, look, I'm just thinking about something regarding Patrick Beverly. So, I'm not sure if you remember this, but and this one just brought me up to a rabbit hole that brought me to something that we didn't report about that happened this past week. But Patrick Beverly was on a documentary called Hoop Reality in 2007, and they kind of called this the unofficial sequel to the mid '90s documentary Hoop Dreams, which was a phenomenal thing regarding the state of basketball in the inner city of Chicago, especially at the high school level. And Patrick Beverly, it went all the way to him being drafted in 2009 for this to the LA Lakers. And part of the things that it came up regarding the sports documentaries, and then the next sport documentary that I saw regard that was next to it is was Last Chance U. And I didn't know if we wanted to talk about that real quick regarding the murder of the coach at Laney College, or the former coach at Laney College. But yeah.
Yep. You know what? Let's talk about that. I actually
Sorry about that. I know we wanted to end it with Beverly, but I didn't know if you were bringing that up or not.
No, I am. I've got to put some stuff together here, so I need you to fill some time.
Yeah. Well, hey, ladies and gentlemen. So just so you all know, we are not going to have Radar follow us with the Smoke Pit this evening. He is off, and we wish him a great thing for being a great day being off. So the next time you will see anybody on WTF Nation or U.S. Army WTF moments across YouTube, X, Facebook, and that's all 3 of them that we're on right now. But next time you'll see us is on Thursday. That will be Ice and Spanky with Sergeant's Time. time, and then FTX this Friday with CQ. King, what are you guys playing on Friday?
We'll know Friday.
You'll know Friday. So yeah, that sounds like a good game. We'll know Friday on Friday's FTX. I kid about that one. And then Nemo on Saturday with weekend co-ops. Don't know what game he's playing. I think he's got something on there, but yeah, I always check him out. Then on Monday, the King and Me comes on at 7 with this bald guy over here, and then the better half, Michelle, followed up by the Monday edition with Ice and Shipwreck, and then Tuesday will be Pop Culture Warrior with CQ and Mad Mike, or we don't know who's going to be on there, but hey, we got some people on, and then come back us with us. Are we going to be going the day before Thanksgiving, buddy, or we gonna? What are we gonna do, man?
Let's take a break.
All right, not a problem with that. I'm cool with that one. So we will not be seeing y'all next week. Yay, hooray! Don't know what we're they'll let and besides that, it is the day before Thanksgiving, so spend some time with your family, and you're gonna have turkey the next day and see Santa Claus at the Macy's Day Parade and all of that other stuff, and you also got football that afternoon. Yay, football! Let's watch some football at Thursday.
Absolutely.
What's the Black Friday game? Do we got a Black Friday game this year?
We typically do.
You know what? I'll get the schedule up, but do you want to hit up on John Beam?
Yep, I got it up and I'm ready.
All righty, go ahead, bud.
All right. Before we do, shout out to Michael Carroll Squillo said that fantasy football is stupid. The end. All right. So, John Beam, if you like football like me, then chances are you've watched Last Chance U, which was on Netflix. It featured a university that not too many people have necessarily heard about, but the talent that have came through there has led to some people going on to have better opportunities. This college and this coach were some student athletes' last chance to be able to make something of themselves by getting out of what was likely a bad environment, bad home situation with some really talented athletes. They were coached by, you could say, a legend in Oakland for sure, John Beam, the athletic director and former head coach at Laney College. This college was featured on Last Chance U, a show in 2020. At the age of 66 years old, John Beam was shot, and 27-year-old Cedric Irving Jr. was taken into custody at the same day before being pronounced dead early Friday morning at 10 a.m. The attack happened on campus, and Assistant Police Chief James Beer described it as a very targeted incident. And while Beam and Irving weren't close, the pair were known to each other, and Beam was open to helping out everybody in the community.
Mm-hmm.
Irvine played at Skyland High School, where Beam coached for 22 years, including 17 as a head coach, but Irvine never directly played for Beam. Now, I'm going to show a picture of what this guy looks like, and they're going to have a picture of the incident of the suspect right before he goes into the school. I would like to think that maybe, just maybe, this was an incident that you had two hotheads coming together. If the facts ever came out, it likely has something to do with money or maybe an opportunity in which Irvin went to the coach or the former coach about something. Coach said no, an argument ensued, and then boom, the bleaky comes out and it's game over.
Yeah.
This is also the second shooting on an Oakland campus in 2 days. Oakland is one of those areas that it has no glamour for me at all. If you ever said, King, I would pay you to move to Oakland and give you a stipend every month for as long as you can stay there, I'd still say no. there are things in certain cities and certain areas that I could never live in. The entire state of New Jersey is one, and Oakland and Chicago are like 1B and 1C. Coach, what do you have for this story?
Watch your fucking tongue. Oakland's a shithole.
What do you think happened?
I think that an argument between people that it could have happened to absolutely anybody and just so happened to be senseless violence of a stupid argument for somebody blowing it up and, blowing up over something that should have been solved without any type of violence. 2016, I met a gentleman who was very big within the homeless community. He was a gentleman who owned a car wash that allowed a lot of people to feed the homeless for dinner at that area. And he was at a wing bar real close to his car wash, and him and some gentleman got into an argument. And just 5 seconds after the argument, the guy went out, got a gun, and shot the dude. Lost a pillar of the community because of stupid, senseless violence. These things happen in areas where I'm going to say it, where the disadvantaged are. Okay. When you're dealing with those people who are disadvantaged, unfortunately, violence is a little bit more prevalent. And hearing that happening in Oakland doesn't surprise me. I'm not going to say Oakland's been, gradually going downhill for a long time. And shoot, they don't have any more professional sports teams, at least on our end. They have nothing, and they're not going to have anything coming anytime soon. Nothing is going to be moving back there. So to know about that type of violence happening over there, unfortunately, within Oakland, it's going to suck. It's, things are just moving out of that area, and nothing else is going to be good over and towards that way. Yeah, Oakland's going down. Sorry.
Have you ever been?
I have only been to San Francisco. I've never been to Oakland.
What did you think about San Francisco?
All right. So, I don't know whether or not. I mean, I would say this. I was on military orders to a good friend of mine's funeral. I cut in front of the line to let them know that I needed to find out how I can get to Bakersfield. And I was in San Francisco at that point, and I needed to be in Bakersfield that evening. As I cut somebody, I explained to them that I'm on military orders. I'm supposed to be into a funeral tomorrow. I need to be into Bakersfield. And I had just gotten out of Hawaii, and that's where I flew into, was San Francisco. And I had a woman say she didn't give a fuck about a dead soldier, and he's glad, that doesn't fucking matter about a damn dead soldier. And it took every fiber in my body to not fucking hit a woman right in front of everybody.
Was this like a bystander?
What's that?
Was this a bystander or like?
This was some woman in San Francisco.
Okay.
That got mad at me because I cut in front of the line because she couldn't get her flight informations, And like I said, it's San Francisco, so every fucking flight, gets canceled out of that way. It's like the Charlotte of California.
Gotcha.
So I base my entire interactions with the state of San Francisco, or the city of San Francisco, off of that one interaction. I am unbelievably biased. I hope San Francisco somehow gets a freaking, the San Andreas Fault comes up. I hope like there's like lava activity. And from that street, that's like the most crooked street in America, there's nothing but lava flow that just goes down and like wipes away everything. And fucking Godzilla comes over and like takes over everything and then shits on Barry Bonds. And, and somehow moves over to San Jose and burns that Levi Stadium right to the ground and does whatever it wants to San Francisco. That's what I would love to have. For me, San Francisco could be wiped off the planet, and I'd be a happy man. So anyway, you got the wrong. Yeah, sorry, I hate San Francisco.
I can tell,
Yeah.
man. So look, rest in peace to Coach Beam. When this occurred, like there are several people that they're entrenched in the community,
Mhm.
and when they pass, whether it's tragic or not, it's felt. So it sounds like when Coach Beam was shot and allegedly murdered, that it is going to have a ripple effect, not just with his family, but the community as well. So may Coach Beam rest in peace. And I
Yeah.
hope that justice is served.
And
served.
this was the one that came out while I was in COVID, so that's why I kind of like it got to me on this. It was like, man, I can't believe the lockdown was 5 years ago.
Uh-huh.
You know? Yeah,
Seemed like history, man. It
yeah.
seemed like history. And it led to that one kid getting a fighting chance um, with Auburn and a potential chance at making it to the NFL.
Mhm. Yep.
Now, earlier we had you look up if there were any Black Friday games. I see that there are some. Would you
Yes.
like
Oh,
to?
yes, I do. So, yeah, so the Detroit game, it would be Green Bay at Detroit. Always a good matchup, and see how Jordan Love does against Jared Goff. Then the 4 o'clock game is Pat Mahomes, and he'll be in Jerry's World for the sleeper game on CBS and Paramount Plus. I wish that game was also on Nickelodeon, and did the SpongeBob cast like they used to do. Yeah, I missed the SpongeBob cast. In fact, you know what? There hasn't been enough cartoon casts this year. I have not seen one yet, so I'm hoping one will show up. And then Cincinnati would be at Baltimore. That will be the late game on NBC and a Peacock. That will be a blowout. And Lamar Jackson, you better put your fantasy numbers up. But then Black Friday will be 3 p.m. Prime Video. And Chicago will be going to Philadelphia to meet up against the Eagles. Nothing on Saturday, and then a slate of Sunday games. And the Jets, of course, are on a C tier game. So I'll be watching them on the Red Zone channel.
And then
Yep.
we've got a slew of games in college as well.
Oh yeah. So this. Oh yeah. By the way, so that was the NFL. Now let's go over. I'm getting to that schedule for Week 13. Give me a moment here. I am pulling it up. Starting on Thursday, on Thanksgiving Day, Memphis or Navy will be at Memphis. On that Friday, we've got Ole Miss visiting Mississippi State, Utah at Kansas, Iowa, Nebraska. Let's go with Georgia will be at Georgia Tech. Air Force will be at Colorado State as well. And then you've got Indiana will be at Purdue. A&M will be at Texas at 7:30 on ABC. And then Arizona will be at number 25, Arizona State. So that's what's you got a lot of games that Friday in the top 25. But yeah, the big matchup will be that evening. Will be Texas A&M against Texas, oh wow, definitely want to get Spanky's. Putting that one out on that Friday. So yeah, it'll be a nice one on that.
Yep, that Friday slew of games are going to be big, and it matters as well. When you take a look at that following Saturday, I'd probably say the biggest game that week is OSU versus Michigan. And then I
Yeah,
mean,
Michigan. Yeah, Michigan,
Michigan-
Ohio State. That'll be at 12 on Fox. Yep.
yep. And then of course, I mean, you
Oh,
said you do got the Iron Bowl as well. That's what I'm going to be.
oh, nobody cares.
I cancel stuff around that game. Don't schedule
Nobody cares.
Iron Bowl week.
Oh dear God.
Let's see. Shout out to Corey over on YouTube. Appreciate your comments. Let's see. Corey said some people don't deserve to breathe air. Look, I agree with that. I think that there are definitely some oxygen breathers out there and knuckle draggers that we should have the ability to just take people off the chessboard.
Nah,
Uh,
I I don't disagree. I don't disagree at all.
Yep. Corey said San Francisco and Berkeley have to be the absolute worst places. I want to visit San Francisco.
I,
Only Cambridge and
oh,
probably is bad, and Harvard
oh,
ain't.
and apparently, because I'm on ESPN right now, I guess ESPN is their new deal with WWE will be starting up real quick or whatever it is. I'm looking at Saturday, November 29th. The Saturday of that one is Survivor Series War Games San Diego. It just happens to be the banner on the college football schedule. So, wow, that will be happening that Saturday of Thanksgiving weekend too.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Shout out to Dreamweaver, aka the Dream Machine, is in the building checking in over on X and said, I'm still coming for y'all and fantasy hanging in there. Look, you got a chance. You got a shot. You're not out of it yet at 5 and 6. But I I appreciate your comment on
I fucking am.
Coach is out, but still got to come for your boy at the top, Dream.
Oh,
So bring it. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh man, thanks for tuning in. I don't think I've seen Dreamweaver comment in a while, so I appreciate that. Now let's see. We don't have David Cunningham on to close us out. So you know what, Coach? I'm talked out. I'm studied out. I've got an exam tomorrow, so my brain is like mush right now. I'm gonna do myself a favor after the show, relax a bit. I'm gonna not take my notes or anything like that, and then tomorrow I'm gonna wake up relaxed and hope I go past this CompTIA Security Plus exam. So wish
Oh
me
yeah, man.
close
Dude,
out.
I am gonna wish you luck and hope you do your best on that one. For so we will not see everybody until after Thanksgiving, and that will be absolutely awesome. By the time that we see everybody next, it will be December, and we will be hopefully done with the winter meetings within Major League Baseball. You'll have maybe about a week or two left over in the Formula One thing, and then I hope by that time Lando Norris is the champion and has already got it clinched over Oscar Piastri and Max Verstappen. But we shall see for that. We will be coming up and have a clearer picture of the the playoffs for both the AFC and the NFC, and see how the clinching scenarios. Plus, we'll be trying to find out if the Tennessee Titans can suck enough to stay number one, or if the New York Jets could finally do me a solid and keep losing and hopefully draft a competent quarterback and develop said competent quarterback and not be a poverty franchise and think that they're going to have to keep somebody for an entire year and throw them right to the wolves and not let them develop. Sure as hell didn't work for the previous 4 fucking times we did it. And if you're not counting on the 4 times, it was Mark Sanchez, it was Sam Darnold, it was Zach Wilson, and I will also give one right now to no. No, all right. So I do have 3. All right. So it happened. Yeah, previous 3 fucking times that's happened. Oh yeah, Geno Smith. Yeah, there's 4. 4 of them. 4 times that's happened. Geno Smith was the 4th. I forgot about him. All right, Geno Smith got better, away from us again. Another freaking Pro Bowler that ended up leaving the Jets. So yeah, come on now, don't be a Jet. Let's see everybody in December, and hopefully by that time I'll have another bit of good news as well too, and I'll share that one off air with you, King.
All right, good deal. CQ said, have we mentioned the change to fantasy next year? No, we have not. Matter of fact,
No, we'll do that.
what change we're talking about? Oh, no. Thanks. I was like, wait, what is he talking about? It's because in my brain, I've got that as something to discuss at the end of the fantasy season.
Yeah.
We're going to make a change that I think is a lot better for how we're going to run the league, but there's no point in announcing it just yet. But I'm looking forward to how this is going to come out next year.
Yeah. We'll
Shade,
wait for that.
wishes, Corey. I said, who's going to be coach of my Tigers? Which Tigers?
What, the Detroit Tigers?
Which Tigers?
LSU Tigers?
LSU.
Ah.
Yes, LSU. Um, Well, we know it's not going to be Franklin. Franklin accepted the job at West Virginia. Let's see. It's going to have to be a coach with prestige. I think it's going to be some coordinator out of the SEC. I don't think that they're going to look at, because I don't know of what other big names are out there at head coaching positions, and a university like LSU's got some prestige to it, so they're not going to go after a nobody. I don't know.
Saban sure as hell ain't going back there.
Nope.
I don't know.
Let me
What
take
do
a
you
look.
think?
Front runners
I
for.
don't know. That would be kind of nice. Hey, Nick. You did it one time over there. You want to come back and do it where you did it the first time? That was just a shared national championship with USC. Rub that one into him like that.
Right now, the current odds, because remember, you can bet on anything. Lane Kiffin.
Oh, I was
Ole
gonna
Miss.
say him, but he keeps saying that he's great at Old Miss and he wants to stay there.
The coach out of the Missouri Tigers, Eli Drinkwitz.
Mm-hmm.
And he go from one Tiger team to another Tiger team, and Clark Leah out of Vanderbilt. Those are the top three favorite odds, where some people are talking about Lincoln Riley. Do you think you could get Lincoln Riley out of USC? I don't think there's money in the world.
I don't know. USC is
It's
USC is it's USC in the same way that Notre Dame is Notre Dame. Do you see where I'm getting at though? Like USC hasn't been the top tier in over a decade and a half. It's been over 15 years since USC's name meant prestige. Um, Notre Dame has done itself real well, over the past several years to bring the name back, but USC hasn't done a lot to bring the name back, even with Caleb Williams. No, uh, for me, LSU is one of the best spots in the SEC. Bama, LSU, Georgia, Texas now. Those are like, that's like that's like the New York Knicks, the Lakers, the Chicago Bulls, and the Boston Celtics. Those are like, your prestige, your heritage ones right there. That's like your Dodgers, your Yankees. That's where you're looking at as far as the SEC. The LSU is up on that level with their history and their pedigree, especially within the SEC. You're taking that job over USC any day of the week. I would. I'd get the hell out of there. That's in Los Angeles. That's in another damn place. You ever been there?
Yes, I've been to LA a couple of times.
Oh,
Interesting city.
very interesting city. I will tell you, the area outside of LAX, I will never want to be around ever again in my life.
I drove down Figueroa.
Uh-huh.
And let's just say there were some interesting characters walking outside.
Damn.
All right, y'all. This has been another episode of the Sports Bar. Here with King and Coach at WTF Nation Radio. We are not going to be live next Wednesday. Tune in tomorrow for Sergeant's Time with our main man, Ice. We out. Peace.